It's finally happening. The biggest Major League Baseball matchup in the history of baseball is happening tonight. Yep, it's happening. Okay, maybe it's not the biggest in the history, but it is 100% the biggest in MLB. The matchup tonight for the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. You can't ask for a better matchup. In fact, let's get into the matchup. Before we get into it, hey, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications. We're approaching the 8,000 mark. We're almost there, trying to get 10,000, double dig. Trying to make that happen by the end of the season. But you know the deal. Just pay attention and stay along for the ride. All right. First off, before I get into the story, the biggest story in all of baseball happening today, I just want to comment on yesterday's video. If you heard yesterday's video, you watched yesterday's video, I talked about Roberts taking heat from Dodger fans about just a couple of bad decisions here and there. But look, that doesn't my liking for Roberts does not waver because I said that he's under fire by fans. So for the fan that responded to me and said, "How come you're not crying about Conforto?" Look, man, I'm a man. I had my crying ducks taken out years ago. No crying here because there's no crying in baseball. But look, I'm a Roberts fan, okay? And so, a lot of you guys chimed in who are definitely not Roberts fans. Do you really think that we would be where we are without Roberts? And some people say that anyone can manage a team. Not anyone can manage a team. And that's untrue. I managed Little League for a while and I didn't do very good. I think we won one game. So as far as Roberts goes, I think he's in the right position. I do think he has a lot of input from Friedman on what his moves should be, but look, I don't waver on him. Yes, do I think he makes some bad mistakes sometimes? Sure. But once again, I don't know of another manager that I'd want in that position. All right, let's talk about it's finally happening. The biggest story in all of baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm talking about. The matchup for tonight. Scherzer and Kershaw set for the showdown. The 3,000 Club, member number 19 and member number 20, going to be going at it. How rare is it? Is this something that you don't see every day? Yeah, of course you don't see it every day. But you know what? Surprisingly, it happened a lot in the 80s, believe it or not. Why the 80s? Better pitchers back in those days. All right. Here, how rare is it for two pitchers with 3,000 plus strikeouts to start against each other? It's pretty rare, right? The 3,000 strikeout club is obviously one of baseball's most exclusive groups, and Kershaw and Scherzer are two of the most recent to join it. Both did so with the Dodgers. Scherzer did it in his brief stint in 2021 with the boys in blue, and Kershaw back on July 2nd. I was at the game. I was there with my daughter. We witnessed it live. We saw history, the 3,000. There were just the 19th and 20th pitchers to reach that illustrious total. But I mean, you could look at, here's the deal. You could look at all the matchups in baseball for the whole entire season for this season, and there's no way there's a bigger matchup than this one right here. This is obviously the biggest matchup in all of baseball. It is. I don't see, I mean, could this be a World Series matchup between these guys by the end of the season? Could the Blue Jays actually hold on and be that good and make it to the World Series and face the Dodgers? Could that actually happen? Stranger things have happened. Let's get into more of the story on that. Oh, wow. Where do you go from here? Let me see. Okay, so like I said, we talk about how rare it is. Okay, let's talk about the first intersection between Kershaw and Scherzer came, get this, way back in 2008 when both were rookies. It's crazy because the last year that I DJ'd for the Los Angeles Dodgers was the 2007 season. I remember seeing Kershaw hanging out with the team back then before he was brought up the very next year. So it brings back some very fond memories of DJing for the Dodgers back in the day. Perhaps this comes Friday night at Dodger Stadium. Scherzer will start for the Blue Jays, Kershaw for the Dodgers, interleague battle of the first place teams. And that's why, I mean, hey, could this be a World Series matchup? It sure the heck could. It sure the heck could be a World Series matchup. Let's really talk about the rarity, though. I mean, because a lot of people are saying, is it really that rare? All right. It is rare. I mean, it's the biggest thing in baseball. You don't even try to argue with me on that one, okay? already reaching the 3,000 mark on any time in their career because many of these careers, the 1980s, it happened 20 times during the 80s. Why would it happen 20 times in the 80s and only 4 times since the 80s? Is that because the 80s pitchers were better, or was that group, that solid sample group back there in the 80s, were some of the best pitchers? Because in more recent years, it hasn't. Here's the last times it's happened. September 6th, Scherzer went against Justin Verlander. Kurt Schilling went against Roger Clemens in 2007. And Maddox versus Clemens in 2006. But since then, that's it. This is only the 4th time since the 80s that this has gone down. So it is a big situation for baseball. This is big. This is absolutely humongous on what is going on. It's massive. How many more adjectives can I use? Okay, it has massive implications. You can say all that stuff, right? But all right, what have the guys have done? What have they done so far? What are the numbers between them? Let's check with Max first and see what Max's numbers are. All right. So here's Max right now. Only been part of 8 games. He's only pitched 41 innings, 44 strikeouts, 105 whip, a 4.39 ERA. That's not a good ERA for Mad Max, right? 3.18, that's his career ERA. But he hasn't been in much action to start. So how about Kersh? What is Kersh looking at? Okay. Well, Kersh has been in more games, 65.2 innings pitched, 42 strikeouts, 1.25 whip, 3.29 is the ERA, and a 5-2 record being part of 13 games. So I don't know how you slice it right there. I think Kershaw's got the edge. You see Kershaw on the strikeouts, 3,010, right? What was that? What's the 3,451? So Max, I don't know. I think the Max is going to eclipse him. I don't know if Kershaw is going to be playing much more than another year, maybe 2 at the most. But you got to think that Max is going to end up with the more strikeouts by the end of it. All right, so that's how it's looking for the Dodgers right now. Biggest matchup. This could be, a foreshadowing of what we're going to see in the World Series. Love to see that matchup. Tell you what, you don't see the 3,000 club very often. Only 4 times since the 80s has gone. All right, how the Dodgers doing so far? 66-49, 4th in MLB, 3rd National League, 2 in front of the Padres, 8 in front of the Giants, and 12 in front of Arizona. But here's the dealio on this. Dodgers face the Padres 6 times in the next 2.5 weeks. Just think about that for a while, right? That's like 17 days. They're going to face them 6 times. And that is going to be a big test for the Dodgers right there. Are they going to let them back in? Are they going to let them just hang around? Or are they just going to shut the door on them? Well, shutting the door tonight would be a big message for the Dodgers, and that's what they definitely need to do. Also in transactions, Dodgers sent Esteury Ruiz down to minor leagues. Justin Dean, who's been in number 1, was he number 1 pick? I think 18 or something in the Atlanta organization. Justin Dean plays all outfield positions. He's been red hot in the minor leagues, and he is heading to LA to come up. They haven't announced it officially. In AAA, 80 games. His slash line, 279, 376, 434. 25 stolen bases. He's attempted 32, got 25 of them. He's got wheels. And once again, he plays all outfield positions. Are you listening, Conforto? That would sound fun. And finally, also, Robert says that you're not going to see Shohei going past 5 innings. That's what he said. He's adamant about 5 innings is the number for Shohei. So they pulled him in 4 innings. The last time he went out, we lost the game there. You got to think 5 is going to be it. I mean, I'd like to see him go more. Shohei would like to see him go more. A lot of fans probably do not. I want to see your comments below on that. And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about, Joe Kelly reunion. I think it's a good thing. Here's why. He hasn't played a lot lately, but he has been working on his pitches. Says he's getting back into it. He's been on podcasts talking about that he's been pitching. His velocity's up. So that's good. And if it could be the right time and the perfect storm to bring in Joe Kelly, I think that the Dodgers need to take that into consideration and maybe even make that the game plan. All right. Hey, that's going to do it. Dodgers Digest, Brad J. Always love to be here with you. Make sure you subscribe, like, turn on notification. That's going to do it. And the Dodgers, the biggest matchup in baseball happens tonight. Let's go Dodgers.